The Michigan Central Station impact area, 3 neighborhoods. Let's start in historic Corktown.
The train station, a huge historical connection to a lot of people, average people, came to this city through those portals, through that entry, that lobby. That's our Ellis Island. But still, it's an iconic piece to Corktown and this area, and to the city and to the region, for crying out loud.
The trains quit stopping here in 1988. Then 3 decades of talk about what to do with the building until 2018.
Oh, I was immediately excited just because someone was doing something with the train station. When they made the announcement, they announced it with a plan.
Before the train station opened in 1914, there was Corktown, the oldest neighborhood in Detroit.
Go get the ball. No!
Dorothy BENNICK arrived in 1994. She wanted a historic house in the city.
And everybody that I knew said, "Are you out of your mind?" The front of the house?
Her house, built in 1867, vacant and without a roof in the 1980s, but saved when the neighborhood was designated an historic district.
Yeah, when I moved in, there were a couple people that accused me of gentrification, which I didn't even know what gentrification was. But I couldn't have gentrified because there hadn't been anybody here to kick out. So...
A mile-long walk down Michigan Avenue, and you're in the heart of downtown, a walk taken by many working-class immigrants who settled here long ago.
That's why the sign says, founded in 1834, essentially by Corktowners. And they called themselves Corktowners because they had that connection of leaving Ireland through the Port of Cork. It's not because they came from County Cork. They came from all different counties. Can I have a slice of this?
Yeah, half it off.
Tim McKay moved here in the early 80s.
Okay.
He learned a great-great-uncle helped build the historic apartments he owns. Along with the Irish came Germans, African Americans, Maltese, Latinos, working-class folk. And there was the ballpark, last known as Tiger Stadium.
When Tiger Stadium closed up, the people living here felt great. You know, the newspaper said, "Oh, Corktown's in danger now." Well, not really. People lived here. We had new houses. The parking lots were looking more like maybe we should build something there.
Corktown, with its mix of homes, restaurants, businesses slogged on, bringing us to a more recent turnaround with storefronts coming back to life. Bob Roberts moved from Ypsilanti to get McShane's Irish pub going next to where Tiger Stadium used to be.
Here we are 8 years later, and now all of a sudden we're geniuses for coming down. We're geniuses and visionaries.
We're projecting that over the next 10 years, we should be preparing for approximately 700 to 1,100 new residential units.
Now come the studies and the reports. Ford, community benefits administrators, and the city holding meetings.
We've got a lot of city staff here today.
This one run by urban planners who say they're about halfway through the process.
This is just to get you thinking. But basically, you know, Corktown's a neighborhood with good bones. It's existing streets, blocks, and shops and parks. It's set out the structure for its future, and one that will play host to new and existing residents, businesses, and visitors. If you like that, let us know. If you hate it, let us know.
To see what's happened is remarkable, but it's also nervous situation.
A slice just southeast.
It's changed in a big way.
When you start bringing in the thousands of people that will work in that facility and other facilities, what will happen to traffic, parking? Are these people going to bring in an economic benefit to the community, or is it going to bring housing and rental prices to the point where you can't afford to be here?
Ford's been great to work with. Their level of community engagement, I think, is better than any other business partner that I've personally ever worked with in my 20-plus years in business.
In my opinion, Ford has done even more than they said they would do.
Corktown resident Deborah Walker likes the Ford Information Center on Michigan Avenue, providing the latest on the construction and what's going on with their autonomous car technology.
They outdid themselves with this information center, and we can use it for community space. We actually have our next block club meeting there.
The challenge now? Determine what the neighborhood needs and what the project could provide. Perhaps a Walgreens or CVS would be nice.
I hope they bring in enough people and they find a perfect location for a small grocery store.
We got a lot of restaurants. You can't buy a pair of affordable socks here. That's going to come. The spillage to the suburbs from this area is in the millions because we had to drive out of town to get clothes.
A lot so far has just been the planning. It's the implementation at the end of the planning that's going to show if the powers that be have listened.
We understand that Michigan Avenue is a major thoroughfare and obviously a large and vibrant commercial district, but that vibrant commercial district is smack dab in the middle of a neighborhood, and we don't want to ever have Corktown lose its Irish Maltese and, quite frankly, poor history and legacy. We want to maintain that.
A couple blocks behind McShane's, there's I-75. And on the other side of that, the second part of the impact area, North Corktown.
Everybody knows where Corktown is. It's that place where they got those really nice little historic houses, you know? Corktown and North Corktown have really different needs.
Here, so many homes and businesses cleared away. Now it's urban prairie.
A lot of things happened in my 58 years. It was nice when I was a kid because it was all filled up with all kind of different types of architecture. Everything was here, and then it went away.
Last spring, we got together with some North Corktowners at Nancy Whiskey, the neighborhood's only tavern.
We already started making change before Ford came on. We were already on our way, and Ford just blessed us with a little more. The only thing I've noticed more of is notes on my door, do I want to sell my home?
The difference between the blight nowadays, because the developers have an interest in, is market value. You could probably purchase a home for maybe like $250,000, you know, sell your home for $250,000. Whereas when I was growing up in, you know, the 80s and the 90s, you know, you couldn't even give it away, you know.
What I've noticed since I've been there is right across the street, I think there's plans to build a house. I also think my landlord wants to build another house right next to where I'm at. So I'm very aware that, like, things are changing quickly.
Changes like the North Pine Street townhomes, subsidized affordable for middle-income wage earners, a family making $61,000 to $91,000 a year, something dental hygienists, physical therapists, city workers can afford. Oakland Housing, a nonprofit, broke ground last summer.
The market really can't do it, not because it doesn't want to, but because it costs so much to build right now. It is difficult to build a new home that a middle-income family can afford. It often costs more to build it than they can afford to buy it for.
The challenge for North Corktown, how much more development? The Detroit Land Bank owns a lot of property here. Open space many in this neighborhood would like to keep that way.
That we need to control development as a community and really guide the city's process and demand what we want to see here. And one of those critical components is the open space. And that's one of the reasons I ended up here, because growing up in a, suburban monoculture out in the exurbs, I had a lot of open space as a child. It's one of the precious jewels of the neighborhood.
Back over the freeway and across the tracks past the train station, Impact Area Part 3, the Hubbard Richard neighborhood, which is part of Mexican Town.
That viaduct divides Mexican Town and Corktown.
SUSY Garza's been looking at the back of the train station her whole life.
Everything right now is going on for Corktown. They're forgetting the people on this side of the tracks. They're forgetting this area, this neighborhood.
Garza's parents started the tamale store in 1957. Her home only steps away, owned by her parents before she was born. On West Verner, Tamaleria Nuevo Leon sits on the main artery into Mexican Town. When events close streets in Corktown, the traffic's cut off to her neighborhood.
I will notice when I come to work in the morning and I see, why are there barricades up under the viaduct? Oh, we have an event going.
Garza says property values rose 4 or 5 times higher after the Ford announcement.
And somebody told me, you could sell it, make some money. Where am I gonna go? This is home. This is all I've known all my life. I had people tell me, you know, when Ford comes here, you know, you have to get ready for them and and you have to, you know, invest in this and change the menu. I'm gonna change the menu that we've had for 60 odd years. You know, then I'm not gonna be who I was. I'm not gonna be who they were. Okay?
We should maybe be asking questions, and so let's get prepared.
Another meeting, this one by the Hubbard Richard Residents Association.
I think Ford wants to be a good neighbor. I don't know they know how. And I think we have the opportunity to do our part to help them to understand how to be a good neighbor.
We would love it if they can come more to our neighborhood and talk to us. And in fairness to them, they have shown up to a couple meetings.
And you're talking about having these, you know, 4,000, 5,000 jobs. Where are they going to park at? Okay? And then they mentioned that they were going to put a parking structure behind the train station. And then that's what I said, like, so it's going to look nice from the side, from the front. But the people in Mexican Town, Hubbard Richard, we're going to see the other side of the building, and we're going to see a parking structure?
Parking plans are still being worked out, but the word from Ford, the view from Mexican Town won't be obscured. Before Ford arrived, there had already been some efforts to improve the neighborhood. The city's West Verner study included a large swath of southwest Detroit, where Hubbard Richard shows up as just one part.
It seems like we kind of fell between the cracks between the Verner study in Southwest and this new Corktown study that's occurring. And Hubbard Richard shows up in both of those in a fraction. So we're even split from the planning process perspective as to what the impact is. So all the more reason to make sure that there's clear lines of communication and collaboration with the neighborhood and residents.
Respect the community, respect the culture. If you want to put a microbrewery, go put that on Michigan Avenue like everybody else, okay? Respect the area here. You adapt to us, we don't adapt to you, okay?